twat.
Oh, that's right. I have a Twitter now.
Oh, hello. I love the people I follow on Twitter. They're
I
usually all naked.
I need to follow some of the people you're following on Twitter. Shit.
Go follow Foxy underscore cosplay and Amy Fantasy underscore. They're usually always naked.
Hold on, I gotta figure out what the fuck my password even is. I just set this account up like a couple of days ago. There we go. Okay, that's stupid. Oh wow, my account's only 83% complete. I guess Twitter needs to know when my birthday is. Alright, Twitter.
So it can tell everyone else.
Now I'm 100% on my profile. Fantastic. What am I typing in here? I'm sorry.
Amy Fantasy and Foxy underscore cosplay.
Amy Fantasy. Is it all one word?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Alright. This looks mostly annoying. We gotta not do this. What was the second one?
Foxy underscore cosplay.
I started typing underscore.
Ha! It's not how that works.
It's not how that works. Alright. Follow this one. Yeah. Alright. Follow. I wonder if
That's one of the things
Spanky's
I like about Twitter. I follow like 3 naked people on Twitter, and it's just like that nice surprise where you're like scrolling through your feed and you're like, oh, that's a tit. All right. Suppose I need to open show notes.
Maybe.
I've got them all memorized, line by line. Yeah, I would have been home earlier, but it was the bartender's birthday, and we ended up all having pickleback shots.
That's fine. I had just gotten a pizza I ordered and was having trouble getting off my bed and laughing hysterically while playing with my dog. So, you're fine.
I wondered if you were going to be able to tear yourself away from that fucking swatch.
I've barely touched it. I'm waiting until I'm in a better mind to enjoy Zelda, to be honest. And it needs its initial charge anyway.
That's fair. I want one just because I can sit anywhere and use it and not require a TV.
Yes. Well, I played it a little bit on the TV. I haven't got a chance to do it handheld style yet. It's only at like 50% charge or whatever. I haven't been home very long.
Man, that Mercy hoodie is pretty dope.
Mercy hoodie?
Yeah, Jinx has a line of Overwatch hoodies.
That sounds amazing. Hold on.
It's pretty good.
I'm all about Mercy. I don't want the Pokemon Jinx. Fucking, what's the website?
Jinx, I don't know.
JinxIdon'tknow.com. Let's see what comes up.
I think it's jinx.com, honestly. Yeah, it's just jinx.com. That's why I was like, if it's not jinx.com, I don't fucking know.
How do they spell it?
JINX.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
JINX.
I put in JYNX. I think that's literally the only way I've ever seen that spelled. Ghost Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. I actually really want the Reinhardt one. The Genji is not bad, and the Lucio is pretty dope, too.
How do I fucking do any of this? Hold on.
Yeah, their website is kind of a pain in the ass if I remember right.
It's definitely a
It
pain.
doesn't work well at all. If you go to search and just hit the Overwatch button, that should work.
Oh, I went under shop. Fuck me. I must be stupid. Overwatch. Alright.
That Junkrat one, though, that puke green color.
Oh, dude, I'm all about that. I want that one. Oh, I'm getting that.
I'm waiting for a Hanzo hoodie. But
That Genji hoodie looks exactly how I thought that Genji hoodie would look.
Yeah, I do like the Lucio one.
And yeah, the Lucio one's alright.
Reinhardt one.
The Reinhardt one looks pretty dope, even though I'm not a big Reinhardt.
I like the colors of the Reinhardt one.
Yeah. I'm not getting that Mercy hoodie, because that's just going to get dirty and ugly looking real fast.
Mm-hmm.
But that Junkrat hoodie's gotta happen.
I kind of want that Soldier hoodie just because it's so obnoxious.
That looks stupid. I'm not about that life. If you want to be obnoxious, that Diva hoodie... that Diva... Dude, I might get that Diva hoodie just for days where I feel like being weird.
Did you see the Zarya one, though?
No, I don't think I did. Hold on. That looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I actually like the Roadhog one. That one just kind of looks like a fucking hoodie. And it says Hog Power on the back.
It does say Wild Hog Power.
I don't know.
All right.
They're all kind of cool.
Are we doing an intro? Do you got everything set up?
I mean, I can in like 2 seconds.
I'm gonna open up the stream and see if it doesn't destroy my internet. It'd be real cool if it didn't.
Well, I'm gonna mute you and I'll play the intro music because you have background noise, and I think I do too because I have a heater running.
Yeah, I have an AC running, so.
Yeah, so as soon as the music's done, I will unmutify you.
All right.
Is what I have instead of coffee.
Let's hear it.
Welcome to BoxPress Radio. It is Friday, November 17th, and I'm Dan.
And I'm Zach.
And Andrew is MIA. He warned us ahead of time. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not here.
So we're gonna two-man it.
Yeah, double team this bitch.
Woo!
But yeah. You know, we actually were like podcast professionals this week and made like fucking fancy show notes that are actually like longer than normal show notes with like 4 people. And it's been kind of an interesting week, exciting even when it's been bad. I'm not going to get super deep into my week because it was just shitty, and needless to say I'm looking for a new job, but I'm still employed, kinda. Um, but Zero, how was your week, sir?
Well, let's see. Was technically part of last week. I went on a date.
I think your mic died or something.
Hold on.
It sounds like you're talking through a laptop mic.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You just sound muffled.
All right, that's weird. Where the fuck is my good mic? I don't even know. I gotta pull this. All right. Well, that's probably the best it's gonna get. But yeah, no, I went on a date last Thursday, so that was pretty neat. Got to go to Sakura's, get some real good filet mignon. Is really the only thing I ever fucking get there. Come on, how do you get it out right now? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I had this weird experience where, like, I stopped talking to my entire group from high school, and one by one over the past month, they've all been contacting me, and nobody's been talking to anybody else. Just out of the blue, everyone's talking to me all of a sudden.
That's real weird.
It is real weird. I don't know if I really can't meet up with most of them at the moment anyway, but I feel like we all need to get together and hang out. We'll also be probably a bad idea at the same time. Like, there's a good reason we all don't hang out with each other anymore. I don't know.
That's fair.
I got to pick up a new game for my game night called Boss Monster. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
Yeah, I've almost bought that at like the past two Gen Con, or not Gen Cons, not MegaCon, Chicago Comic Con. Jesus, the one that I go to.
So it's really not that much different than the game we've been playing, which is called Battle Spell Wars or something like that. It's a really fun game, but get it at a good price. Like I paid too much for it. I really wouldn't pay more than $20 for it, but it's worth $20 if you find it for that price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, so I don't know how much of it you looked at. It was pretty obvious from this, but the whole game is kind of based off of like old Super Nintendo characters and graphics. And your job is to basically build a dungeon that can kill more heroes than other people's dungeons.
Yeah. Which
is a really satisfying way to play a game. It's real different than a lot of other games that I used to play. My local community for the past couple of years has been fighting to make sure that this one land developer doesn't buy a small section of property in the neighborhood behind me to put like condos in there where they clearly don't fit. Yeah, he just wants money, and he just like wants to tear down someone's house and put a road right right between two people's houses, and everyone's like, "This is a terrible idea. Don't do this."
It's awfully nice.
Yeah, so we've been fighting with legal battles for years, and he's basically gotten in people's faces in the neighborhood and been like, I have more money, I'm going to win. Like, you're just wasting your time, you need to stop. Well, after like 2 or 3 years, we beat him on every legal level possible, and he's now going to have to take all of his wasted money and go fuck off somewhere. So that feels real good, and we all got to have like a community dinner get-together thing at a restaurant down the street. I mean, I got to meet one of my local delegates and talk to him for a couple hours. And you know how I am into politics and shit, so that was a lot of fun. It was real neat to actually meet one of the people that represent us that is nearby here.
Yeah, so was that just like a public event? Because when you first mentioned it, I thought you meant like you guys just went to dinner and he happened to be there.
That's kind of what happened, yeah, no. So it wasn't a public event. It was just the people in the neighborhood that helped fight this court case over the past couple of years. My family's pitched in a lot of money, and then I specifically made flyers, tickets, like graphic design-related stuff for free to advertise all of the stuff that they had to do and help raise money. And I guess one of the local delegate helped us fight this case because he thought it was stupid too. So he was invited to the dinner with us, which I didn't know about.
And he just happened to sit like right across from us, and I didn't know who this dude was. Some random, Asian dude that just sat across from us. And my parents were like, "Honey, I think that's Mark Chang." "Yeah, I think that's Mark Chang." And I'm sitting there going like, "Who the fuck is Mark Chang?" They're like, "Oh, it's like our local delegate." I'm like, "Oh shit, that's dope as fuck. Hey, what's up?" Like, so yeah, and he wanted to talk about. I don't know if you heard about it. They want to build this super stupid fast Elon Musk train, whatever, from like DC to New York.
Yeah, we've talked about it like off stream, but like not on the podcast.
The maglev, yeah. Well, that goes through a bunch of communities right down the street from me, like walking distance from my house. And they just want to like tear up all these houses and put vents where God knows what would be coming out of it, like right in front of a bunch of elementary schools and shit. So he was trying to get us all on board, like, here's what's going to happen, here's where they want to put it, and we need to fight this shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm on board with that. This sounds real dumb. Let's not do this. So I'm probably going to talk to and work with him a little bit more.
Nice.
Yeah. Kit went down to Florida to do her capoeira kiki dance fighting shit for a week. So I got my dog with me, but she's sleeping and being lazy behind me at the moment. So that's been a bunch of fun. Yeah, I'm not used to it. Like now I have to wake up like an hour and a half early every day because she's used to going to the bathroom real early. So like literally the first thing, like I'll feel something nudging me and then I'll open my eyes and the first thing I see every morning is my dog just staring right in my face, which is super awkward and unnerving.
I mean, I usually wake up to Sophie's face literally being on top of mine.
Yeah, that's basically what's been happening. I'm like, could you like fuck off a little bit, just a little bit of space or something?
Roll over, bitch.
Yeah, I'm usually like trying to beg with my dog. Like, can you give me like 5 more minutes? My dog's not giving me 5 more minutes, nor does she understand. Like, okay, no, she needs to go now. I got to make some cupcakes.
I saw that. I was just chatting with a friend about the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah, I have not seen any of that. We'll have to talk about that soon. And the last interesting thing that happened to me this week is I actually just got back from doing happy hour with my coworkers. This is the first job where like I have a bunch of coworkers that go and talk and hang out and do things outside of work. It's really awkward, but it's a lot of fun.
And I know you were excited about it, like specifically. We had talked about that.
Yeah, because I've never done anything like this before, and I love all the people that I work with. So I'm like, cool, it's not just work. Like, let's all go do something, hanging out outside of work. It's real neat. Yeah, I've never had anything like that before, and it's real. It was just real interesting for me and a lot of fun. So I'm still a little drunk from it.
Yeah, I went over to Shoreline just because I don't usually get to go that far. Or I don't get to go to that often. Obviously, I've been drinking as well. But it turned out it was my friend, acquaintance really. I don't know her that super well. Like, she just bartends there a lot when I'm there. But it was her birthday, and the entire bar stopped and sang happy birthday to her, and everybody gave her massive tips. And then one of my buddies that I found out, like, we've been going to this bar for like 3 years and sitting next to each other, and like he goes outside and smokes a Black and Mild and like always has one hanging out of his mouth while he's drinking. And we've been sitting there and, we've chatted about fishing and shit. And I was mentioning like, oh yeah, I lived in Florida while I went to college. And he's like, oh yeah, where'd you go? I was like, oh, I went to Folsom. He's like, oh shit, me too. It turns out he was the student that was the guinea pig for ShowPro.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, so he took
that's
ShowPro.
Really fucking neat.
Yeah, he took ShowPro before that was an actual program. And he went there and told them what he wanted to do, and they made a program for him. And that turned into ShowPro. So I ended up chatting with like him, and then my friend Peyton showed up, or she had been there. She got off work at 3 and she had been drinking all day. So she was real fucking drunk and came over and was hanging out with us. And she was like, hey, I'm planning a huge May the 4th party, so you guys are coming. So we arranged, we're going to have there's a thing called the brew bus, which will like take people drunk for free wherever they want to go. Which is real weird. That's like
that is real weird. I was about to
service.
say. I was like, that could lead to some interesting adventures. I kind of want to be, I want to retire and be the guy that drives those people around just to see where they go.
Yeah, just rig some cameras up in there and broadcast it, and you got yourself a gold mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, so basically we're going to take, like, a bunch of the people from this bar, and we're all going to get on the brew bus, go to her house, and celebrate Star Wars Day, and get super fucking hammered drunk, and then the brew bus will take us back home for free, which is pretty amazing. So we made that plan, and then my buddy Brian that went to Full Sail was like, I'm gonna get you an envelope with some money, and you can buy your daughter a birthday present or a Christmas present from me with that money. And she's like, no, my kid doesn't need presents, stop. And I was like, well, we can't buy your daughter a beer, but we can buy you a beer, and it's just not the same. And she's like, okay, well, yeah, but still, she doesn't need any more presents. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like, well, I was going to get Ava a present too, but instead, why don't we just have our kids get Christmas pictures together? Because they're like literally the exact same age within a few weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
So she's like, really? You actually want to do that? And I was like, yeah, of course. That sounds awesome. And she's like, okay, perfect. So instead of like doing the whole Christmas presents for people that you're not, like best friends, like, like we are, where we talk like literally every day kind of friends, our kids are going to get Christmas pictures. And I told her she needs to like hang out with Ashley, and, she needs friends. You need to kidnap her, basically, is what I told her. And that's gonna happen.
I've made several friends that way. I've been that person plenty of times. Like, we're just gonna kidnap you because you don't leave your house. Like,
yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's gonna happen.
Fantastic. Wow. So what else have you had going on this week?
Work has been kind of shitty. I think I accidentally met my replacement, so I'm looking for a new job. Nobody has said that they were my replacement, and he introduced himself as my helper. But I feel like, if your business hires you an assistant, essentially, they usually involve you in that process and don't completely make a point to be sure you don't know about it.
Isn't this the same company, though, that like ordered two companies that did the same service when you first started, that you had a contract with one of the companies that they couldn't do that?
I mean, yes, there are a lot of red flags, and there are a lot of things that are really weird, and they do a lot of really backwards things, but that seems like a bridge too far.
I mean, I agree. I actually was taught, like, right after you sent me that message, I showed it to the two graphic designers I work with, and we were all talking about it. And they're like, yeah, that seems a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told them about the whole laptop thing and everything.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you combine that with, like, people asking me for passwords that they have no need for, like, 3 different people asking for different sets of passwords, and then this guy obviously logging into those because I get the login notifications immediately thereafter. Like, it's a little bit too obvious that a bunch of people know and they just are purposely not telling me. And this guy specifically not
weird.
being where I am.
Yeah, it's super strange. I will give you that.
I mean, if you hire somebody to be somebody's assistant, you definitely have them meet that person and work with them. You don't have them purposefully stay away from that person. That's not how that works.
I mean, like I said before, I've been to jobs find people's assistants where they're just like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Apparently, I'm supposed to ask you what I do." They're
Right.
like, "Oh."
But you didn't actively avoid that other person. You actively tried to help them.
Have you met me?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying.
I avoid most people.
Yes. Anyway, needless to say, I'm looking for a new job very, very actively. It seems like an issue. I think I'm going to need a new job within the month, and I've been applying to everything for the past 2 months, but I've kind of expanded my search, including jobs that I don't really want, which was something I wasn't doing because I wasn't in like panic mode yet.
But the red flags are becoming overwhelming.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, I don't want this gap in my employment. So I would rather find a job while I have a job than not have a job and be frantically searching for one.
Well, I mean, that's good because it's kind of like, and I don't want to jinx it or anything, but it sounds like they might do the same kind of shit that got pulled on me when I was working for the hospital, which was wait till it's about to snow and it's impossible to get an interview and then we'll fire you. So there's just several weeks where you can't even possibly go in for an interview.
Well,
anywhere.
and I'm really hoping it's not over the next, like, this is a long shot, but I'm really hoping that nothing happens until after the holidays because nobody wants to hire anyone during the holiday season.
Literally, yeah, no, that's what happened to me. Like, it was when we had Snowmageddon back in, like, 2010 or whatever. And, like, not only was it the holiday season and everybody was closed, but then it also snowed and everybody stayed closed for, like, 2 more weeks. And I was like, okay, I pay rent.
Yeah, they still require me to pay, snow or not.
Yeah, like, there's not like, a thing I can do to keep my housing. Like, please, somebody go to work and fucking bring someone in for an interview.
Yeah, with my $800 a month that I pay for my education from Full Sail, I really need a job.
That shit is so retarded.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But, so that's all, I mean, that was like all this week was all of that coming to light and becoming a huge issue. That was like most of the latter half of my week. The other big thing that happened that's not great is my mom found out she needs a complete hysterectomy, which is essentially a surgery that removes all the lady parts. Internal, mind you. So it sounds like that's going to need to happen sooner rather than later. We were hoping like January or February, but it sounds like it's going to be mid-December at the latest. And it's either they can do it with a laser and it'll be 2 weeks of recovery, or because of endometriosis and the scarring and the tissue issues. Ha, that rhymes. They would have to actually like legit cut her open and it would be like 2+ months of recovery. So we're really hoping for scenario A in that case. But it's really bad timing with my job being in, jeopardy, because she won't be able to work, obviously. She doesn't have a steady job. She does odd jobs like clean houses and take care of the elderly, that sort of thing. So she won't be able to work.
Which just means whatever the fuck actually doing is getting sold for a pretty big household, definitely for whatever that's doing.
But yeah, that was kind of the other big thing this week. Other than that, I mean, it's been kind of just a busy week getting ready for Christmas stuff at work. A lot of projects and stuff that they didn't tell me about until the last minute, as per usual. But that's pretty much everywhere I've worked. That's not like a special or uncommon thing. That's pretty average.
Well, I see Comcast on here. We've both been having a fun time with our internets lately.
Yeah, I mean, currently, you're basically a slideshow. Like, we're getting occasional frames of you moving. And it sounds like you're on ham radio. Um, but yeah, we had an issue with our Comcast where I called them because our internet went out completely. And they were like, oh yeah, we see that you basically have no usable internet at your house right now. Let's send somebody out there. So the next day somebody shows up and they're like, oh, we can't see a problem. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you replace these things anyway, because that's what you're here to do. So while they were doing that, they noticed that we had all of these issues that they didn't think we had before. And they ended up spending about 3 hours at our house trying to figure it out, and they never really did. Needless to say, we needed a new line run to the house, we needed a new router, and we needed a new cable TV box for our main television system.
So, can you hear me any better now, by the way?
No, you're pretty much the same, and you're completely still on the video.
Yeah, no, it's saying my connection shit, even though my connection's saying that it's awesome. And I put in my my fucking snowball mic, so I was hoping that would help.
I mean, the audio sounds a little better,
So,
but there's
yeah,
still a lot of
fuck me.
static. It's definitely your connection.
So, yeah, so hopefully you can hear me through all of this, but, like, I was having occasional internet problems, but it was pretty good for the first couple months. Well, I guess Comcast decided it wasn't good, so they came out and fixed it, so now my internet doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I mean, your internet seems to be getting progressively worse. And I assume, like, the issues that you're having seem too bad to be something as a result of, oh, someone else in the house is downloading something, or I'm downloading something. It's like, hey, this internet connection is completely interrupted, and there is a ton of static in the line.
Yeah, literally nobody in my house is doing anything with the internet except for me right now. And it literally, like, Comcast told us, oh, it seems like there's connection problems in your house. It seems like someone's hacking into your router, which I have no evidence of. And there's no evidence that anyone is having any issues with that anywhere. So they came up to fix it, and now nothing works at all. So I guess they fixed it real well. No one's going to hack into this internet. They won't get a connection.
Yeah, it seems like you have an issue with static in the line, or like something, like somebody in your neighborhood is downloading like a massive amount of data or something, and just like killing the whole area connection.
Which, I'm wondering how far this line extends, because most of the people in my neighborhood are, like, so old they might die at any moment. So I don't know who the fuck else could be doing more with the internet than I'm doing ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, our node extends over like a 4-mile radius, so it's a lot of houses. And there was a problem house right up the street from us where they ended up disconnecting the guy's internet and telling him he couldn't get service from them any longer. So, I don't know. You have a pretty big range of places that could be an issue. And I know there are businesses within the range of where you live, so that could be part of the problem.
They have different connections, though, so I'm not worried about that.
They do, but it runs through the same node. Like the main
not here.
point.
Not here it doesn't. The way they have it set up is most things run from around my house and go up all the way up to the town up the street from here. And then when you head towards the businesses, there's another node down there.
Okay.
It's because it works the same as it basically works the same as our power. Like, usually everyone in the area will, like, lose their power except for the couple houses on this block, because the main lever for the power is literally right outside of my house.
Yeah.
So.
So I was thinking about doing a weekly comic where I would read a comic every week. And I wanted to start it this week, but I just did not get a chance, and I didn't want to start and not have time. So I'm going to try to do that next week, and I have no idea what comic I'm going to start with, but I'm kind of thinking Deadpool or Something really obscure that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I'm going to go with something obscure that I've never heard of. I wanted to get one, too. And the comic book shop down the street for me would allow me to bring my dog in. But they close at 6. And I just have not had time with all the other shit that I'm doing to go there, like, right after work and pick anything up, so...
Yeah, I literally work next door, like parking lot to parking lot next door to a huge comic shop, and I have not been in there yet in the past 6 months.
That's terrible. You need to go in there.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list of things to do before I stop working where I am. And it's next to my favorite lunch spot too, which I've been to repeatedly. So I really have no excuse. But well, my excuse is I never have time while I'm at work, and then by the time I get off work, I'm ready to leave. And I'm not even sure they're open by the time I get off work.
Yeah, most comic book shops don't stay open that long. I know there's one comic book shop I can't take my dog into, and they stay open pretty late, but they're all the way up in Annapolis. And after work, I don't usually feel like driving all the way up to Naptown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, one of my good friends literally owns a comic book shop. So I should probably go to that one instead anyway.
Nah, just be super lazy. Be like, hey, you should just ship me, here's a couple of bucks. Just ship me some random shit that I definitely have never heard of.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've designed all of the covers that he puts on the boxes full of comics where it's like 25-cent Marvel books and stuff like that. And I've totally not even been in there to see them. So
we got one comic book shop called Capital Comics. It's like Main Street, Naptown, and they do this thing where they have an empty cereal box and a bunch of these cheap comics, and you can, for I think it's like $10-15, however many comics you can fit in that cereal box, you can get for that price.
Nice.
It's a ton of fun to just go through there and be like, I'm gonna stuff this motherfucker with like 50 comics. What's up?
Fantastic. And then the only other thing is I'm kind of starting to plan a like week-long camping trip where I like go out into the wilderness by myself, with like a minimal amount of supplies. So like a micro stove, which is like something you could fit in your wallet that unfolds into metal pieces that fit into a square that you can put wood in, and it turns into like a jet furnace. And then literally like fishing for food. Like, I'm not a huge fan of eating fish, but I feel like that's a good challenge and like good for me as a person to do something I'm not comfortable with. And obviously I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm going to take backup food and stuff like that, but it's something I want to plan like over the winter and do next spring.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So
should record the process and whatnot.
Yeah. I plan on taking like a GoPro and some cameras and stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff I need to figure out, like to take with me. Like, what kind of fishing gear do I take? Where do I go is a big one. Like, what's the best place locally, like within close distance that I can do that? And then like, what kind of food do I take? What kind of tent do I take? What kind of backup food do I need? What kind of solar charging solutions are there so I can actually like charge batteries for GoPros and my cell phone and stuff. So I have cameras and whatnot. A lot of stuff to figure out over the next, 3 to 4 months. So I feel like it's a good project to keep me busy over the course of the winter, and then something to keep me kind of active once spring gets around.
Well, word.
Yeah.
So what are you? I can't see you at the moment. So what are you smoking?
I have an AJ Fernandez New World. It's something I smoke a lot of. It's a nice box press cigar. It's kind of peppery, a little bit full bodied. It's a nice cigar. It's like $7, I think. They're pretty cheap, and they usually last about 2 hours, but I've kind of power smoked this one.
And you also had a Underground as well.
I smoked an Undercrown like yesterday or a couple days ago.
Word.
Yep.
The only thing I really did this week, besides my usual Black and Miles and my my vape pen, I have been just what I had a happy hour is when I drank like 3 or 4 Strongbows and had a shot of Padron. I got nice and toasty. It's real nice that my coworkers want to drink at a place right down the street, because it's like, oh, how far do you have to go home? I'm like, oh, like 3 streetlights and I'm there. So that's fucking awesome.
That's part of why I go to drink at Shoreline, because I mean, granted, it's like a solid like 15-minute drive, but it's mostly back roads. And there's really never anyone out, and there's not really any wildlife either. I've never seen a deer or any large animals. So I feel a little bit safer, and like, I don't typically drink that much. Like, I'm not that drunk. Like, I have a slight buzz, and I don't think I would even be over the legal limit. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. Like, I don't drink and drive. I'm not stupid. But you know, I still like to try to make sure I'm as safe as possible, even having a single drink. So, and then tonight, like I said, it was the bartender's birthday, and we all drank shots of Jameson and a shot of pickle juice afterwards. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be extra careful.
Okay, so what was in that pickle shot?
So a pickleback is literally you drink a shot, and then you drink a shot of pickle juice afterwards as a chaser.
Okay, so I'd never heard of this shit before, and one of my coworkers ordered a shot like that. I think it was like pickle juice and vodka together, and it was in a shot.
Yeah,
like
no,
with them together.
So some people do them together, but a pickleback, the whole point is it's like the pickle juice is the piggyback to what you're drinking as the chaser. That's why it's called a pickleback. Otherwise,
okay, is this a new thing? Where did this pickle shit come from? Because I literally never heard of this before.
Pickle juice is just a strong flavor, so people drink it after a shot of alcohol they don't like the flavor of to kill that taste in their mouth.
But I mean, is this a newer thing, or has this been going on for a while?
No,
and
it's been around forever, but it's become popular.
Okay.
Oh wow!
I was like, I know I don't drink that
all of a
much.
sudden.
It got really what?
Clear.
Oh, well, good, I guess. Yeah, no, I just, that seems really weird. I'm not a big fan of pickles. I wouldn't want to take the juice from a pickle jar and put it into fucking literally anything, ever.
Yeah, no, between, like, the 6 of us that drank these shots tonight, we went through, like, a, like, big fucking like quart container of pickle juice. Like, I love pickle juice and pickles, like all of us do, so we drank a lot of that stuff.
Y'all motherfuckers are weird. I don't get none of that shit.
Yeah, sure. I love pickles
It's all you.
But yeah, it was, I don't know, Jameson was better than I remember it being.
I am not a Jameson fan. Like,
I didn't think I was either, but it was fine.
I'm pretty picky about like whiskeys and shit, but like, yeah, I'm not a big Jameson fan.
Yeah, I mean, I drank 3 beers and a shot before I left, and I'm pretty good. Like, I don't feel that toasty at all, which I'm kind of surprised by.
That's pretty much what I had, I mean, more or less. Cider beer, it's about the same alcohol content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were like 6% beers, what I was drinking.
I don't remember what Strongbow is, but I'm pretty sure it's like at least 4 or 5. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's up there. It says
All right.
it's 5.3.
Yeah, so I was right. Fantastic. What did you watch? I know you mentioned the Great British Baking Show, and I
Yeah.
know that we both got through Big Mouth.
Yeah, finished Big Mouth. What else? I've been listening to a little bit more of the Star Wars Fatal Alliance book. I listened to, I think, like 4 or 5 more chapters of that. It's okay. Like, I think it's better because I'm really in the mood for Star Wars. Like, I think if you were just to pick up this book and not be a huge Star Wars fan, you'd be like, why would you ever read this? But if you're a Star Wars fan, there's a lot of fan service in the book. There's a lot of, like, oh yeah, you know, you're going to recognize these names and you're going to recognize this zone that they're in, this area. Like, oh, I've seen that starship before, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, Satele Shan is one of the characters in the book, so...
I don't know who that. I'm only kind of in the Star Wars.
Well, so I bring that up because that's one of 2 remaining servers in the Star Wars US region. That's the name of the server. Who is like the head of the Jedi Council at the time period that the game and the book is set in.
Okay, so it's set in the same period as the Old Republic.
It is a literal Star Wars: The Old Republic book.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And from what I understand of the timeline, that's like 2,000 years after Knights of the Old Republic and like a fuck ton billion years before like the actual movies.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Hey, I know a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I finished Big Mouth, and I didn't realize I was watching the last episode, and I actually went to go try to watch another episode, like, the next day. Like, I just stopped. I was like, oh, well, I'm done for the night, went to bed. And then later the next day, like, that night, I was like, oh, watch some more. And it was over. I was like, oh, why is it gone off my timeline? And I was like, oh, I watched the last one.
You know, I've realized there's a lot of shows I watch like that, and I just never thought about it. Like, you ever go back and try to watch, like, Futurama or Family Guy or anything like that, and you go, what was the first episode of this? And you're like, oh, really? That was the first episode?
Yeah. The only one that I actually think held up pretty well was Futurama.
Love me some Futurama.
Like, the first episode of Futurama, I remember watching it live. And then I went back and watched it, and I'm like, this is still really good. Like, with the death booth thing, the suicide booth.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty fantastic.
And that's back when Bender wasn't even that interesting of a character, and he was still amazing. Like, Bender is one of the best characters ever made for fucking anything ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always have a personal love for Fry, too, but...
I think Bender is by far and away the best character in that series. Just, there's not even anything close.
Well, I mean, I really love Fry for most of it, but by the end of the series, they just zone in on him being retarded so hard that I stopped caring about him.
That's fair.
Like, it went from him being, I'm a fuck-up, to I'm retarded. And it's like, I don't know. So, like, bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely think they went a little bit hard on the this guy's an idiot line. Like, they definitely overdid it on that. They could have made him a little less stupid, and it would have been better, I think.
Yeah.
But what did you think of that new Deadpool trailer?
I mean, first of all, I'm biased. I love Deadpool. I really thought Ryan Reynolds was going to be a shitty Deadpool, and I was fucking wrong. Ryan Reynolds impressed me greatly. I already knew that I was going to love this movie.
Deadpool.
Yeah, no. I was going to love this movie before I ever saw a trailer in the first place. But then the trailer was great, too. I don't really think it showed much of anything of the movie, but just the kind of marketing that they're doing beforehand for this movie is just spot on.
Well,
It's fucking...
so you saw the one that came out like right after the first Deadpool with the phone booth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like after that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they get it. The next one is going to be the best thing ever.
Yeah, and just but the whole Bob Ross thing.
Yeah,
it's
that
just
was
like
perfect.
fucking yes, absolutely, fucking perfect.
I mean, Deadpool is the perfect character for this current time, though, where it's like the internet age, and Deadpool was basically made to be like the king of all memes.
Well, I also think that we're heading towards I think we had a period of people just exploring culture and having fun and shit like that, and now that we're having crisis periods again, we're moving back into like a period of intellectuals. You know, probably still gonna have a couple more generations to go. But I think because of that, we've gotten away from simplistic like, here's a good guy, here's a bad guy, moving more towards like, here are good guys with massive flaws and make bad decisions.
Yeah,
like,
here's a
people
good guy
really,
doing bad things, i.e. the Punisher.
Right, like the whole anti-hero balanced gray area thing has been that's a big thing at the moment. I mean, not just Deadpool and Punisher, but like take stuff like, like Firefly, literally the entire cast, like it's one of the reasons that show's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think people are less interested in everybody being the straight and narrow good or straight and narrow bad. People are definitely much more interested in the gray area, which I think is good because that's a little bit more grounded in reality, and it gives everything a little more, I don't know, believability, even if it's in an unbelievable world.
Yeah, I think that was always kind of my problem with reading a lot of the old school stuff. Like I grew up with a lot of, like with comic books, for instance, like the old Golden Age comics, where like Batman isn't so much a vigilante as he is like the cops plus,
Right.
Like, let me show you how everything works, and we need to help the cops and support our boys in blue and send out good messages, and like super ridiculously good guy, and everybody is like the best version of the world possible. It's like, this is not the world we live in. Come on.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more gray than it is black and white, and characters are much more interesting when they have some bad in them, and you get to explore a lot more, and you get a lot more depth, and you kind of care more about that character as well, because you're like, oh yeah, no, I kind of identify with them a little bit more, even if they're wildly different than anything like yourself.
Well, I think a big attraction to it is that people have an easier time like identifying with the character. Like, it's hard to identify with Superman, but it's less hard to identify with Deadpool. Like, most people have a sarcastic asshole side at some point or another that like to think of themselves as a good guy. Like, that makes Deadpool pretty popular.
Like, I never had interest in Superman because the problem with Superman is, like, other than the books where he's specifically killed, and that's the whole point, like, he's going to survive, he's impervious, he's going to figure out a way around it. Whereas Deadpool, he might just get completely fucked up, and like that's kind of what makes him great. Like, yeah, he's gonna survive it because he's Deadpool, but he might have some real consequences associated with it too.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't survive it once because Marvel Zombies happens, and the only reason he keeps going at all is because he's
where they specifically make a point to kill him.
Which, even still, his zombified head gets sent into an alternate reality with another Deadpool, which fucking love those comics. And then, I mean, there's a lot of the issues where he, like, tries to be kind of good, and he even tries to join, like, the X-Men, like, tries to be a superhero.
Yeah.
But then there's also 2 story arcs where he literally kills everybody in the Marvel Universe. Twice. Like, so...
I tried twice.
Twice.
Well, not tried. Succeeded. I don't even know how they worked around that timeline-wise. I haven't made it all through those comics yet.
Yeah. So I want to talk about I can't think of the name of it. The wings thing, Hot Ones.
Oh yeah, the YouTube show.
Yeah.
So I found out about this today because one of my coworkers were talking about it, and they sent me an email. They're like, "You got to fucking watch this. Thank you." So I ended up watching the Bob Saget, Bobby Lee, and Terry Crews episodes, which are just fucking amazing. I don't know. Did you watch all 3 of those?
I didn't watch the Bobby Lee, or at least I don't remember watching it. I may have. But I remember Terry Crews and I remember Bob Saget because I just watched that one too.
Terry Crews goes on like a vision quest near the end or some shit. Like I don't know what the hell's happening, but it's just like starts screaming and crying. It's fucking weird. And the music they add to it too. Like he just starts like you can see the veins popping in his head and shit, and he's like trying to hold it in, and the music gets all intense. I'm like, this is perfect. I love it. And then you've got Bob Saget, who, like, compared to the other two, just takes it like a fucking ship. Like, he's through, like, the 9th hottest one, and he's just sitting there going, like, mid-sentence, like, fuck, this hurts. I really hate this. This sucks. I'm like, that's it? That's all the emotion? Just, this is really hot. Ow.
That's quite the name. Stoned Weed Master Edgy 420. Like, fucking congrats on all of the internet in your name, I guess.
You are the meat lord.
Also, yes, I love pineapple pizza. I don't care if people don't like it.
Oh god, it is a meat lord.
Yes. But I absolutely love I think Bob Saget had my favorite quote on a Hot Ones episode where he said something about like, I'm going to vomit up a dildo and it's going to stick to your head like a...
I think I lost you for a second. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just talking about Bob Saget turning him
part.
into a unicorn with the dildo.
Yes, absolutely. No, Bob Saget is great. Like, I think I love everything that he does that isn't Full House, to be honest. I wasn't a big Full House fan.
I liked it as a kid. I mean, I was probably like 10 when that was popular. Also, there wasn't much to watch.
You gotta watch the Bobby Lee one. The Bobby Lee one is fantastic.
First of all, I don't know how I missed an episode where somebody literally shit themselves. I feel like I need to see that.
First of all, I love Bobby Lee, and I love the fact that he doesn't care how embarrassing he becomes. Like, he'll do it. You know, he doesn't want shit cut out. I love Bobby Lee. I really do. But not only shits himself, and even warns the guy that he might shit himself at the beginning, and talks about times that he shit himself throughout the interview, but at one point, like, he just stops everything. Like, you just get the look on his face, and he just looks one direction, he stops talking, he stops moving, it looks like he stops breathing, and they're just sitting there like, are you okay? Are you with us?
Yeah.
Bobby? And just like, it's crazy. He even when he gets to the really hot ones, like, he just starts yelling uncontrollably at people. Like, it's super aggravated at every question. So they're asking about, I don't know if you saw a lot of Eminem music videos, but he was in a music video. And you just sitting there asking, like, did you talk to him? Did you get to meet him? And he's just like, what? Yes, of course I talked to him. I was there with him. Like, what kind of fucking question is that?
That's the appropriate answer.
I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good. You gotta watch it.
So if you enjoy the Bobby Lee episode, you definitely would enjoy the DJ Khaled, where he literally goes and throws up halfway through the show, or like after one or two wings. Like, he doesn't even get to the hot ones. He throws up on wing number like 2 or 3 and then quits.
How?
Yeah, like, they're not even hot.
I'd love to try that just to see how far I would get. I love doing that kind of shit.
I mean, I don't really love doing like hot food challenges, but I like wings, and like I eat really spicy wings and don't find them that spicy. So I feel like I could probably get through that pretty easily.
I am 100% the opposite of you. I hate wings. I don't eat wings at all. But I'll just do straight shots of hot sauce. Like, absolutely 100%. I do that shit all the time. Totally about that.
Yeah, and I think it's Leah Remini, the former Scientologist and star of King of Queens, or co-star. I think she was like, I don't want to eat the wings, or like, I want to eat the wings and I want to try the hot sauce on its own. Like, she tasted each hot sauce on just a spoon. She ate like a spoonful of each.
No, you gotta get a shot glass. You gotta get a legit shot glass. You can't do a spoonful bullshit.
I think you might die if you drank a shot glass of some of those latter ones.
I agree, and I want to try it. Bucket list.
I mean, I don't think you would have a choice.
Okay, so on the topic of stupid shit like Scientology, since you brought that up briefly, I saw this thing on Vice this morning while I was just trolling around YouTube of, like, there's enough people now that there's an actual convention for flat earthers.
Oh, Jesus.
Which has to be, like, you sit there interviewing people like, why do you believe this? Like, what makes you think the Earth is flat? It just, the reasons they give are just the dumbest things ever.
Also, like, let's not discount the fact that it's, like, the most easy to disprove thing in the world. Like, most of these flat earthers have enough money that they could just simply get on a jet and fly to one of these places they say don't exist. But they refuse to do it because they want to talk about the flat earth.
This one lady was like, they were like, how do you know that the earth is flat? She's like, oh, you know, I went out to the beach and ran tests, and like, that's how I know, you know. And they're like, that's why it sounds scientific. What kind of test did you run? She's like, oh, I take a ruler from like one side of the beach and walk it as far as I could go, and it was even, so the earth is flat. Like,
clearly you don't understand scale.
I don't think you understand how this works. I've had friends that believe the flat earth shit, and they're like, what makes you think the earth is round? I'm like, okay, go outside, look up, you can literally see the curvature, like during sunrise and sunset, like you can see.
Well, and not only that, if you've ever
sphere shit.
Yeah, if you've ever been on a plane, you can see the curvature of the earth.
Yeah, like it's a visible thing, like without science at all. Like you can fucking see it. What are you talking about?
But that's mirrors. They put giant mirrors in the skybox, so you think it's fucking curved.
I got into an argument with somebody about this shit, where they tried to tell me, and they're like, well, I was like, we have photos of the planet. Like, we sent shit up there and took pictures. They revolve around the motherfucker. They're like, oh, no, they Photoshop those. I'm like, no, they don't. Like, they've been doing this for a very long time. They didn't always have Photoshop. They didn't have Photoshop for most of that.
Also, you can buy a GoPro and a weather balloon and test it yourself. Like, you don't need to be a fucking, like, rich scientist.
No, this is the part that pissed me off, because they were like, no, you could use Photoshop. They could use Photoshop back then. I'm like, Photoshop didn't fucking exist when they were doing this shit. Like, there was no Photoshop. And they're like, oh yeah, how do you know? I'm like, because I have a degree in it, motherfucker. Like, that's...
Well, and not only
like, I'm
that...
literally an expert on that subject. Like,
let's not discount the fact that people are not that good at keeping secrets. There are too many people that would have to be involved. This would have come out. Like, motherfuckers can't keep their mouth shut about fucking somebody. You think they can keep their mouth shut about covering up the flat earth?
Yeah, no, they did a Adam Ruins Everything episode about how, like, the moon landing was faked, and here's all the ways it couldn't possibly have been faked. And one of them was, like, the sheer amount of people that were involved with this project, to have literally none of them ever say anything to the public at all is just retarded. That's not...
Yeah, it's actually impossible. I don't know. Those people just want something to... Like, they want the ridiculous theory. Like, Nessie has been too disproven, and they can't stick to that anymore.
Well, it makes me really angry, especially with a lot of like my political beliefs and stuff, because there are a lot of real conspiracies that are true, and it gets really easy to just lump them all together and be like, you're like one of these people. Like, no, I don't believe the Earth is fucking flat, or that there are aliens that put us here, that there's like an invisible wave that you can measure, some stupid
we're
shit.
not
Like, it's
actually
not
in the
same.
Matrix, bro.
Yeah, no.
Like, the one of those that really bothers me, I don't want to say it's Elon Musk, because I don't think that's correct, but he has definitely talked about the fact that there's a strong possibility that we're in a simulation. The whole simulation theory.
No. I heard about that. Yeah, I don't remember who it was at all. I don't think it was Elon Musk, but I don't know how I feel about him. By the way, Elon Musk. I'm really, because he wants to do all these things, and he sounds all like super progressive and shit. But I'm like, I don't buy it.
Yeah, no, it's so Elon Musk said there's a 1 in billions chance that simulation theory is true, which is basically him saying it's not true. And then there's a bunch of articles saying that he thinks it's true. But saying that there's a 1 in billions chance does not equate to he says this is true.
I mean, using similar arguments I've heard people use against religion and whatnot, I don't even know how you would come up with that number, because you would have to prove, A, that we've been in a simulation before, and then can thereby judge that that's even a possibility.
Right.
But B, like, we don't even have enough computing power for that shit. We don't have enough computing power to keep up with the brain yet. I don't know how or who or what kind of technology you would think would exist for that to be able to be a thing. So how do you get even 1 in a billion? I mean, for me, it would have to be 1 in, tens of billions of a number I don't know yet. Like,
so the theory is that the simulation runs over and over, and it continues until we get to the point where we're able to simulate like a full version of what we're living, and then it resets itself in that simulation. That is the simulation theory.
And I am totally cool with science fiction, but then that once again brings us back to the, like, but how would you know? Like, other than just making this shit up, what evidence do you have that this could even be a reality in which to have it be 1 in a billion chance? Like, come on.
Right.
It's 1 in an infinity. There's no way that's
well,
true.
And that's actually the problem with them calling it the simulation theory. It's not actually a theory, because that's something you can test and have proof of. It is a simulation thesis, which means somebody thought that up.
Yeah, and that's another argument that gets used for a lot of things too, where it's just like, I think people need to understand scientific theory specifically more. Because, like, I've heard people that don't believe in, like, evolution, for instance, and they're like, well, evolution is just a theory. I'm like, yeah, so is gravity, but that doesn't stop it from existing. Like,
right. And I mean, technically, everything is a theory. There's not a fact out there. Like, there's always the chance that a theory is disproven. That's why it's a theory and not a fact. But things that people say are facts. Like,
there's no absolute truth.
Exactly. And that's,
yes.
Like, fact is a thing that is widely believed. It is not a 100%. It's a 99.9%. It's that 0.1 that makes it a theory. And a fact does not exist because it's a man-made construction.
Well, so from a lot of the scientists that I've listened to use it is they differentiate. So you've got absolute truth, which you can't, or absolute certainty, I think, as they usually call it, which you can't have. You can't be absolutely certain of fucking anything. You can't even be absolutely certain that your brain works well enough to interpret what you're actually doing. But facts aren't even widely believed necessarily. Facts are just things that there's a reasonable amount
there's
information.
a large amount of proof that everyone agrees on.
Not even a large amount of proof, I would say, just a large amount of information that is suitable for the amount of proof that you can get at the time. Like, so for instance, it could be a fact 2,000 years ago that evolution didn't exist, and that would be perfectly acceptable because you wouldn't have any mechanism by which to prove it in the first place.
Right.
Which changes today. Evolution now is fact because now we do have the tools to look at those things.
Right.
So,
but I mean, when I say like facts
relevant.
that are widely agreed upon, things like gravity, air, like oxygen, things like that. Like, yeah, everybody agrees on the fact that gravity exists and oxygen is what we breathe.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's a real fucking rabbit hole.
we danced there a little bit. All right.
So, other than that, I listened to the Giant Bomb cast and the Giant Beast cast, which is the Giant Bomb East crew that lives in New York. Which, by the way, I have no desire to live in a big city like that. The whole commuting thing alone is just ridiculous to me. And spending an exorbitant amount of money to have a tiny space just seems awful.
Yeah, I've spent a little time in New York City. I love New York in general. New York is
Yeah, it's
fun.
great to visit.
New York City is a nightmare. I don't even like being there. I mean, I'm not much of a people person in the first place, so that makes most of the appeal of going to any city not there. But New York City in particular just seems like a hot mess. And the people that love it, the people that live there that are all proud of their city, like, more power to you. That's definitely just nothing I could ever do. I don't think I could even ever stand living in Baltimore.
Right. Yeah.
Which
I would rather pay extra to not be around people rather than pay triple extra to be around more people.
Well, and I heard reports that there were, like, and it's becoming more of a common thing, like a one-bedroom apartment in New York City for like less than 1,000 square feet can easily go up to like $2 million a month. Like,
yeah.
Fucking what? No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, houses where I live are going for like over $250,000, and this is not a place I would want to spend $100,000 to live in, let alone $250,000. And the housing is getting terrible too. I don't understand this shit at all.
I mean, my cousin that used to live in Florida is moving back here to where I live the 1st of December, and he just bought a house for about $100,000, and it's like 3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And it has fucking lake rights and property. So when you compare that to $100,000 won't even get you a third of a one-bedroom apartment to own in New York City, let alone San Francisco, and you compare what you're getting for your money, you're just like, why is anyone doing that? Oh, well, they want to be in the area with all the people and stuff. Like, that's literally, in my opinion, one of the main causes of mental illness in our country, is people are not made to be around that many people all the time.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fucking crazy. And I was looking this up earlier because me and Kit were talking about the original Game Boy. So on top of prices going up, you've also got the whole inflation thing, like the purchasing power of the dollar doesn't go as far as it used to.
Right.
So when the original Game Boy came out in '89, I'm basing this off of January 1990 because it was the end of '89. The Game Boy was worth about $90. Which, adjusted for inflation today, is $174.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. It is almost double.
Well, I mean, it's basically buying a Switch now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you double that, I mean, if you like the houses around my area that are just complete pieces of shit in a not so great area in the first place. I mean, that's equivalent to, in the 90s, buying a house for $500,000.
Yeah.
We're talking about one-story houses that have not had upgrades since the 70s.
Yeah.
What? fucking know.
Yeah, no thank you.
Oh.
Anyway.
Let's see. So, how did you feel about Big Mouth, by the way? We didn't really talk about that a whole lot.
I thought Big Mouth was really good. I did feel like it was really rushed. Like, every episode was just like, let's get to the punchline as quickly as possible. The character development was pretty much non-existent. They just assumed that you would be familiar with all of these stereotypes. I wish they had spent a little more time and had a few less characters.
Well, I feel like they harbored in on the Jew thing a lot.
Well,
and
I
that was
think
a little...
that's because Nick Kroll was like the creator, and he's super Jewish.
Which I get, but if you're going for stereotypes a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know those stereotypes all that well.
Right.
Like, that's... Like, in America, that's not necessarily... Like, people found out that I had, like, a Jewish background, because I'm not even Jewish, and that was, like, an oddity thing. You know? Because there wasn't that many people around. In a lot of parts of the country, there are just straight-up no Jews at all. So that was kind of weird to really try to push that in a show that was supposed to be kind of a mutual, everyone understanding puberty thing, kind of. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think they went a little hard on the Jewish thing, but I do think they did an incredible job on, like, nailing the growing up things and, like, the shit that you go through growing up. I was like, man,
Yes.
I didn't realize how exactly accurate that shit was.
It was. I did... As much as you're right, that part they really did do, but I had a really hard time trying to figure out, like, who the demographic for this show was.
Yeah.
Because it's really weird, because this show is kind of that, like, it was kind of like South Park. It's got that vibe where the kids are just being kids. You're like, all right, am I watching a kid show? And then it's just, like, dicks all over the screen. And you're like, what? Like, I wasn't even prepared for that shit. Like, I had it on at work, watching in the background. I think it got to, like, the basketball scene in the first episode, and then suddenly, literally, all the characters are dicks.
Yeah.
Just jumping around a basketball court. And I'm like, oh, I can't have this up right now. Like,
Yeah, I can't even.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. If a second season comes out, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I wanted more, was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what games have you been playing? I feel like this is something we need to get into because this might take some time, and I'm getting tired of shit already.
All right, well, let me finish up one last thing in entertainment that runs
Yeah.
into this. So, Running with Scissors had a 20th anniversary podcast because the original Postal game just turned 20.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun. They actually read one of my questions on air and everything. It was really good to just see some of the other creators. I actually met the guy that runs Running with Scissors, which is Vince Desi, before. So it was great to see some of the other members that worked on the game. And they released more levels for Postal as well as Postal Redux, which I think has been out for a little while, which I went and bought. And that game is a ton of fun. If anyone's not familiar with it, it's literally just losing your shit one day and then running from parts of the town, massacring as many people as possible. And it came out right in the middle of all of, like, Columbine and all that. So it was really trying to beat Grand Theft Auto for most offensive game of all time. And I love it for that reason.
Yeah.
And they might be... Finally, because all they've ever really done is Postal, they might finally be releasing a new IP in the next year or two. So I'm really interested to see what that's going to be. They've not released any information on that yet.
Yeah.
I also picked up Tyranny and Pillars of Eternity, because I've been playing Divinity Original Sin lately, so I've been needing that, like, computer RPG feel in my life again. I know they've done remastered versions, but I just don't have enough interest to go back and play, like, Baldur's Gate or Torment or anything like that.
Right.
It's still just too dated for me. Like, I need something with modern mechanics, modern menus, and shit like that. And so far, they're both pretty good. Tyranny, I'm a little net on, because the whole premise of the game is, like, the bad guys have taken over pretty much the entire world except for this one piece. And then in the intro, you help them take over the rest of the world. So you start off as the bad guy that destroyed the entire world. And then you just have to make decisions about, like, which dicks get to murder or enslave the rest of the people that remain. It's a really weird angle to take in a game. Like, you're pretty much going to be the bad guy no matter what you choose. Which is interesting and not that fun, to be honest. It's not a super compelling storyline.
True.
Pillars of Eternity, on the other hand, is a lot more fun. It's a lot closer to Divinity. A lot more storytelling involved. The combat's a lot of fun. You get to make your own characters if you don't like any of the NPCs. You can get to follow you. And a little more closely knit to the Dungeons & Dragons rule. So, fucking loving the shit out of that game. Can't wait to play more of that. I got back into some Fallout. Started a new character, trying to finish that game on different endings that I didn't do before. And I got a couple of Pip-Boys off the Creation Club, though I haven't really figured out how to equip them or whatever, I guess. I didn't really read anything, so I don't know about all that. You and me did a little bit of Destiny. We did that faction rally.
Yeah.
And our alternate characters.
All the way.
Yeah, so is that synced now with Xbox? Because
yeah,
I know
they're all synced up now. Everything happens at the same time.
That's what I thought. Like I was talking to Squee and Ed's roommate. He plays a ton of Destiny, but he plays on Xbox. So I was like, you guys just did a faction rally, right? It was New Monarchy. And he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I guess it's the same, man. And he was saying the same thing you were saying, where I guess everybody was just going, like, balls on fucking Dead Orbit the first time.
Well, and everybody was Dead Orbit in Destiny 1.
Yeah, guilty.
See, I
Totally
was
guilty.
New Monarchy, and then I did some Future War Cult stuff because I ran out of other stuff to do. But their stuff is real ugly.
What, Future War Cult?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I feel like they need to rebrand Future War Cult, because when I just knew what the names were, like, that one sounded real interesting. But then when you talk to the people and see their stuff, you're like,
Well, and
nah,
their backstory is real bad. Like,
yeah, it's not.
They're basically saying, we should just lose, let's stop.
Yeah, I want that dude shaders. Let's represent that.
Yeah, they're essentially like, imagine that you lived in the bad future of the Terminator movies, and instead of having a resistance, you said, yeah, the robots are right.
We should all just go fuck ourselves.
That's basically what Future War Cult is. It's not good times. But yeah,
I feel like that would actually exist, though, in real life.
Oh, it totally would. It totally does. Like, that definitely exists. But yeah. Oh, shit.
I also got to say, I was talking to my friend about shaders for New Monarchy as well. Because if you get the real nice shiny ones, you can straight up look like Iron Man. And
yeah, that's what my Titan looks like right now.
yeah, I was about to say, if you're playing a Titan right now, you are literally Iron Man.
Yeah,
like,
no, my character is Iron Man.
That shit is amazing. Like, they should do more of those things on purpose.
Yeah, agree. Which is real awkward, because you can basically be Iron Man Thor if you use the hammer thing.
The hammer!
Or you can be Captain America with the shield throw.
Dude, alright, so I started my alternate Titan, and I never liked Titan. I was not a Titan fan in the first game at all. I was all Hunter, and then Warlock, and then Titan. And it's a little... I'm still all Hunter in Destiny 2, but it's kind of more Titan and then Warlock. I still do like the Warlock. It gets shit on a lot, but it's okay.
I like the Warlock, except for the jump.
The jump is real weird. Not a fan. But the Titan Man, that just whole Captain America Shield Dash thing is fucking amazing. It's just as good as the Jedi thing with Hunter.
Right, it's great.
Yeah, I'm all about that mechanic. Let's see. We did some Overwatch.
I did want to mention real quick that just mention the fact that Titan Quest just released a new expansion.
How old is that game?
It came out. Well, I can probably tell you here. So the anniversary edition. Let's see. Does it say when it came out? I mean, a Google search is probably easier.
Let's see. Titan Quest came out in 06.
2006. So it's 11 years old.
Oh my god. Okay, I mean, I have it. I have the anniversary edition. Like, I'm all on board. I haven't beat it, but I'm on board to play an expansion. Whatever,
so
I guess.
Titan Quest Ragnarok just came out, and that's literally an expansion for an 11-plus-year-old game.
I think we're going to see more of that, though. Like,
yeah.
I mean, how old is Skyrim now? Skyrim's like a 6 or 7-year-old game, and they're releasing two more versions of it in the next year. Like,
Skyrim is basically the same age as my marriage, so it's like almost 7 years old.
Yeah. Now they're releasing Skyrim VR and Skyrim for the Switch, which that just came out today.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to buy it today. But I'm going to buy it because I am fucking Bethesda's bitch, and I will buy anything Fallout or Elder Scrolls related.
Well, and I'm super down with the idea of having portable Skyrim, even if it's like the vanilla version.
You know what? At this point, I'm going to be super pissed off if they don't give me portable Fallout 4. Because if we're going to do Skyrim, I want Fallout. Like, that's all I'm saying. Even Fallout 3 or New Vegas or something, I don't give a shit. Like, put that shit on the Switch so I can take that when I have to go do something stupid.
Yeah. And, like, Fallout 3 and New Vegas at this point basically can run on a cell phone.
Which, you know, speaking of which, by the way, I got a Switch today. I'm super excited about it.
I was kind of waiting for you to mention that. I'm so jealous. I've been wanting one since it released.
Yeah, the dope teal and red one, not that stupid gray one.
Oh, I'm so jealous. That's the one I want.
Well, and on top of that, I got Zelda. Because, I mean, I'm not a Zelda fan. To be honest, I haven't played a game since Majora's Mask. I didn't even play much of that. I think the last Zelda game I really played a lot of was Ocarina of Time. I didn't beat that. The only Zelda game I've ever beat was Link to the Past, whatever was on Game Boy.
I played a lot of the original Zelda. I played a lot of Link to the Past, and then I didn't really play any of the other ones.
Yeah, so not well versed in Zelda at all, but the new game was real good, so I'm super excited to play it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they sold me this nifty case, the Zelda case.
That is pretty cool.
With like some other Zelda-y shit and some screen protectors and some other bullshit. So I'm super stoked about that. I want to pick up Skyrim. I need to get Mario Kart.
The new Mario looks incredible, by the way, and has gotten just completely amazing reviews to the point where people are like, it's the second best Mario ever.
So I'm probably going to pick up Odyssey at some point, but honestly, that's not the Mario I'm excited about. It's the other Mario that's more like a tactics game.
Oh, Mario Rabbids or whatever.
Yes, that one looks really good. I saw a review on that one.
I've heard it's real good.
Ago.
They've talked a lot about that on the last, like, I want to say like 4 or 5 Giant Bomb casts ago, like a month or two ago. They talk a lot about that game.
Yeah, so basically you can not only get like most of the regular characters you're familiar with, but you can get the Rabbids versions of them as well, like Rabbids posing as Luigi and shit. And then you can put everybody in costumes on top of that. And that's what gives them special powers, like basically classes and shit. And I'm like, I'm all about this. Like 100% looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks great.
So I'd like to try that. And then the new Pokemon games released today, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So I didn't pick up yet.
I mean, I
but
feel like if
I
you just got a Switch, you're probably going to be pretty busy.
Yeah, I'm still going to pick them up at some point. I mean, I think it has an expanded Pokedex. It has legendary Pokemon from almost every game. It's got a lot more Pokemon in it. They tweaked the story so the intro is not as long. And they added a shit ton of endgame content. But apparently the next core game, that's the last of the 3DS games.
Yeah.
Now the rest of the Pokemon games are going to come out on the Switch, which I'm super excited about. And apparently the way that they're making that work, and the reason Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun exist, is they had a bunch of new people coming onto the Pokemon team. So what they did was gave pretty much all the new people over to building an expanded version of Sun and Moon, and moved all of the veterans over to making the new one for the Switch. So I'm super excited to see how that ends up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think there was anything else for the Switch really I was looking at too much at the moment. I really wanted to get... I love Fire Emblem games. I love the whole turn-based strategy thing. And then I went to go look at the Fire Emblem game, and it was just Dynasty Warriors with Fire Emblem characters, which fucking no thank you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to play Dynasty Warriors, I'm going to play Dynasty Warriors.
See, if I'm going to play Dynasty Warriors, I want Gundam Dynasty Warriors.
You know what? I was not a fan of the Gundam game. I mean, in theory, I'm on board with you. If I want to do Dynasty Warriors, the Gundams. But the Gundam game that I had, at least, was garbage. I know they made at least 2 of them. I didn't play the other one.
I just love everything Gundam.
I did want to check out the Zelda, though. I heard that was really, really good.
Yeah, I heard good things.
Maybe I'll start getting into a Zelda phase or something.
So we played a little bit of Star Wars: The Old Republic this last week as well.
Yeah, and you gave me shit again for you and Andrew both gave me shit again for my naming conventions.
Yeah, Tomothy is not okay. That's not a real name. You are a bad person for even writing that out.
That's right. I got Tomothy. I've got my Sith character, Pikachu Macabra.
Oh yeah, classy.
Classy. Let's see. I made an Imperial agent. I think named Cholera.
Oh, good. You've got cholera.
You've got cholera.
What is this? The Oregon Trail?
Oh, dysentery has to be my next character. Absolutely.
Jesus.
So, these are my super serious character names. But aside from that, we've been buying a bunch of the cartel stuff, especially the boxes. I guess the Star Wars equivalent of loot boxes.
Yeah, we kind of all got sucked into the old loot box rabbit hole with that game.
I've not been super disappointed with it. I had like one not great box, but everything else has had at least one item where I'm like, yeah, worth it.
I think I bought 3 boxes or 2 boxes. One of them had a pod racer that I really liked, and another one... I bought 2. One had a pod racer that I liked, and then I bought another one that had a costume that I don't like at all. So I got one box with something I liked and another box that I got garbage out of.
I don't remember all what I got, because I don't know if I got 2 or 3 boxes, because I got a bunch of those cubes, too.
I know you bought like 3 boxes, but the cube is basically just another box with one item.
Which usually is better for whatever reason. I did get my dope rat mount thing. I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, we both got a mount, basically.
And then I also got my giant ship, or whatever the fuck it is, Tomothy riding around on.
Yeah.
And then, what was the other thing that I got? Oh, I got that dope orange, brown, whatever lightsaber from the last time I did a box.
Yeah.
I know I got another item that I really like. Oh, the Sith clothes that I put on as a Jedi that made me look so different that we were in a cutscene together and you were like, who the fuck is that character?
Yeah, I didn't even recognize you.
Me. Like, good
yeah,
times.
that game is fun. If you've not played Star Wars: The Old Republic, you should play it.
Yeah, I'm not like previously stated. I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan or anything, but that game's a lot of fun, especially for an MMO. Like it's different enough to be more fun than most of the shit out there.
So on a more somber note, we should say rip Marvel Heroes as of December 31st.
I really couldn't care less about that game.
You know,
I mean,
game was a lot of fun when I first started, and they've changed it so much, and it's become a bastard version of itself, to where they like half-ass gave players what they wanted, but never would relent and just were greedy fucks, to the point where they're like, if you want to pick up loot off the ground, give us money.
Which, you know, we are rehashing these same terrible lessons with EA's Battlefront 2.
Yeah, they their loot box fiasco is so bad the government has stepped in and said, "What are you doing?" Which is never good.
Yeah, that's not a How did you fuck up that bad?
Yeah, like you really got to screw things up. And then them saying, "Oh, we reduced these prices by 75%." Well, guess what? They never should have been so high that you can afford to cut them 75%.
Well, apparently they're still going to have problems because they also decreased the amount of which you get coins by 75%.
Right. And then on top of that, they didn't change the fact that you can still spend money and be more powerful in the game. It's literally pay to win. Like the
they don't
literal
care about
definition
that.
of it.
They're all on board for that. It's the fraud part that they got to dispute. But if they can get past that, I mean, they don't give a shit about pay to win at all. Come on.
It comes down to they start to give a shit when it impacts sales, which I guess it's starting to show a little bit. Like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people getting refunds and such.
Well, so here's the problem with that, though. They don't get any... that doesn't hurt their sales.
No, it doesn't, but it does make it more difficult to put out a new one in the future.
Nope, not at all. So when the first time a game is bought new, all of that money will go to the company, which is why people like GameStop care so much about the trade-in shit, because the only way they make money is when you bring a game back and then somebody else buys it. That's where all their income comes from.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're burning a lot of bridges, and people aren't going to be as likely to buy the next one.
I think the understanding at this point with it, and I'm sadly I'm afraid will just continue to work because people are stupid.
Oh, it totally
is that all they have to do is put out something that says Star Wars and sell enough copies before everyone realizes it's shit.
They sold 14 million copies of Battlefront 1, which didn't even work when it launched.
The game is still getting, like, mediocre to good scores, too.
Yeah, and the problem is, like...
I can't really speak on the game, because I didn't play it.
I played a bunch of it, and it's fun enough to play. It just doesn't have any legs. Like, you're going to play it for a week and be like, okay, I've got my fill. Like, I played a week of the beta, and I was like, okay, I'm good. So...
I mean, that's what I felt about the original Battlefront, to be honest.
I played hundreds of hours of the original Battlefront.
I played quite a bit, but to be fair... that was 99% because I didn't have a job or money and couldn't go out and buy another game.
I just played it because I could sit on the couch and play with my friends and we had a great time.
Right, and I played more Halo, just original Halo, than I really ever should have. And it was, I mean, primarily because we didn't have any other games, especially ones that we could play together, so...
yeah.
We just played a shitload of Halo. I mean...
yeah, like, me and my friends started fucking speedrunning, like, Super Mario World back in the day because we didn't have any other games to play, so we would have races to see who could beat the game the fastest. Like, the whole game.
You know, that's the problem with this new generation of gamers. It's not that they're even spoiled from the new AAA titles and shit. It's the fact that, like, my friends kids, like 7-year-olds and whatnot. We'll come, like, I'll go over there and they'll be like, "Oh, do you want to like see my Xbox or whatever?" Like, fucking sure, whatever. What do you got, like Minecraft? No, they've got a library that's like 6 times more than any amount of games I ever bought for an Xbox.
Right.
And I'm like, holy crap! Like, dude, when I was your age, like, I had, like, 2 of these for, like, 3 years, and I played the shit out of them. Like, you play these games for 5 minutes and move on to another one.
Well,
What the hell?
I mean, as a kid, I barely owned any games. We rented everything. Like,
I went to friends' houses.
Like, my grandma spoiled me, and I would be going to the video store to exchange games for new ones, like, every other day. Or more. So...
See, I wouldn't let them have a console even, so I'd have to go to my friend's house and play. And most of the people around me were poor, so it was like, yeah, no, we got, like, oh, you have an N64? That's really cool. What do you have? I have, like, Pod Racer, GoldenEye, Mortal Kombat. And that's it till next Christmas. Like, all right, well, let's pick one and get started, I guess.
Yeah, let's fucking pod race, I guess.
Yeah, let's pod race. Let's
Like,
pod race
oh, this
so
is
we
terrible.
absolutely know who can't be beat.
Yeah, this is terrible. Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, it's really weird because I think that's why a lot of games don't hold up. Like, we remember playing them because it was all we had and we played a shitload of them, and then we go back and play them and go, dude, I can't play this for a whole minute. How the fuck did I ever play, like, fucking 200 plus hours of this game?
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But other than that, I started my Diablo Season 12. I have like a level 53 Necromancer right now.
You were saying you don't even know what the rewards for the season are.
I don't even know what the rewards are for Season 12. I assume it's just some more of the same where you get like a banner and maybe a pet. Typically, I would hear, like, there would be some headlines and such in the video game stuff I follow. You know, like, I watch enough streamers and keep up with them on Twitter enough to see when, like, something big happens. And there's nothing I've heard.
So, I mean, you've got your usual, everyone's got their own set or whatever, and nothing here looks particularly impressive, not that any of them look particularly bad. There's like a gauntlet and piece that just look like the Thalmor armor from Skyrim.
Yep.
I guess this is just a player thing, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I guess wings that just look like safer Sephiroth's form.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I was thinking about going back to Diablo just because every other game that's like it is crap and Diablo is amazing. And I just want to play a game like that again.
I mean, I love Path of Exile, but I don't have the time or dedication required to play Path of Exile anymore.
I had trouble getting into that, and I got to be in a nostalgic mood to play Titan Quest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty much Diablo for me.
I also have played a little bit of World of Warcraft, not a ton. I typically always get more into the auction house than I do the rest of the game. So I've spent most of my time logging in to 5 different characters using the auction house and logging out.
You might as well just play Eve at that point. Come on.
Yeah. Which I've tried like 6 times and I always bounce off of it because, again, I don't have enough interest or time at this point. But it does look cool. And then, what was the other thing that I was going to mention? I can't remember.
Well, let's talk about those good old BlizzCon reveals real quick.
Yeah, there was nothing for Diablo. No mention at all, by the way, at BlizzCon.
No mention? I mean, I was surprised when the Necromancer shit came out, because I kind of thought they had been done with Diablo for a while, and then they were like, boom, here's an expansion. And I'm like, oh, okay, I was waiting for, like, Diablo 4 or something, but cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess Diablo 3 still has some life in it, so...
yeah, it's got a
whatever.
decent-sized community. It's got a good player base.
But it would be nice to hear something.
Something for the IP.
Yeah.
Give me anything. Give me a Diablo movie. It doesn't even be a game. Just tell them they're doing something with Diablo.
I enjoyed the Diablo books, honestly. I thought those were real good.
Yeah, even if they just said that, like, I'd be happy. I don't give a shit about Diablo literature because I already know there's some out there. But, like, I know when they mentioned there was Elder Scrolls books out, I was super stoked for it. Like, anything would be nice. They announced a new World of Warcraft expansion.
Yeah, they did. Battle for Azeroth.
Looks like it would be neat if I ever really got into Warcraft, which I didn't.
Well, and the even bigger news is they announced they're going to do a re-release of vanilla servers.
Eventually.
So we can play to level 40 without a mount instead of 20. I don't know. I'm anxious for it. I loved Vanilla WoW, and I've been saying for the past, 5 years that I would love to play a vanilla server of WoW. But only if it was official, because I don't want to dick with installing custom servers and whatnot.
Dude, you and almost everybody that I've met,
yeah, pretty much.
That's been a big thing for a while. Even I think I would go back to Warcraft for a while, if we could get a low-populated vanilla server. Yeah. I would try that, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm excited.
We got the free StarCraft 2 expansion thing now.
Or StarCraft 2 for free if you don't own it at all.
Yeah, it's free if you don't own it at all, and if you own the base game, it gives you the expansion for free.
Which I got.
Yeah, so I don't know if I had already bought it already or not, but it doesn't matter now, I have it, so I might have to check out a little more StarCraft. I reinstalled it, but that's another... I remember we talked about this in college. I used to not be a Blizzard fan at all. I didn't really like StarCraft. I didn't really... I kind of was into Diablo. I didn't really get into Warcraft at all. I don't think I really became a Blizzard fan until Overwatch, and then I started taking a second look at everything. But speaking of that, they're now releasing a new character.
Yep, Moira is out.
Which I feel like, look, I know they don't just want to do whatever the community says, but I feel like there's been a shit ton of good ideas out there about what to add to the game, and this was none of those things.
Yeah, this was basically them saying, we had planned to do this and we're just going to do it anyway. We're not listening to you on purpose. And the other thing is, they came out saying, oh, this character is OP. She's super overpowered and we're going to have to nerf her. And it's okay, well, don't put her out like that, first of all. And then turns out she's super underpowered. She's almost totally useless.
The problem is, if you make her stronger, she makes everyone else totally useless. If you make her basic attack stronger, why have Symmetra?
Exactly. Or if you make her healing incredible, well, why have a Mercy? Or why have an Ana?
Or Zen. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
She basically just has a temporary Zen strike, and then she's got the I go invisible super fast, kind of fucking Sombra thing. Except with Sombra, she can get hit and stopped, and this one just kind of teleports forward. So I guess it's
I feel like she
Tracer.
has an ability, her transport ability is what I think Reaper should have had.
That would make more sense for Reaper.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like she's a bunch of characters together, and all of them are underpowered because if they weren't, she can either be OP or useless. What is the fucking point? At this point, if they just came back and took her off the hero gallery and were our bad, I'd be totally okay with that.
And I noticed, I started playing some No Limits games that they put out, specifically so people could try her out. And almost nobody was picking her. Everybody was just trying to do their fun, stupid player comps rather than, oh, let's try out the new character. It was, let's all pick the exact thing that counters her and just kill any of them we see.
Which turns out most things counter her pretty well.
Yeah, Torb is a hard counter. Her right click, which is her damage, actually doesn't damage the Torb turret at all. It doesn't affect it in any way.
And she's super tall and has weird effects all over the place, so good targets for Hanzo and Widow.
Yeah, Widow is the other hard counter for her. She's easy enough to hit, and she's slow enough that Widow can just completely shut her down.
I mean, a Symmetra.
Yeah, Symmetra out-damages her.
By a ton. I mean, she barely does any damage. Like, Symmetra can face tank her and then go attack somebody else without having to go grab a health. Like, and her ultimate looks like she's doing like a super Kamehameha, and it does
literally nothing.
Nothing? Yeah, I was like, what am I just doing a basic attack, or what am I doing right now?
I mean, I've hit enemy heroes with like probably 25 or less health left and not killed them with it.
Yeah, it does fucking like no damage. It keeps you alive well enough. It doesn't seem to heal anybody really any faster than it was before. It definitely doesn't heal them fast as like an actual healer.
Right.
So it's not even an ultimate ability. It's just kind of annoying. Thanks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? I don't understand her.
Well, and I think pretty much everybody is like, why did you put her out so quickly? And why do we need to wait, until February for the new Blizzard Land map when you let people play it and it worked perfectly fine?
I feel like the longer they're working on this game, the worse they're getting rather than better. And it gets even more annoying because every time What's-His-Face does a developer update, they like pat themselves on the back for listening to the community. I'm like, are you though?
Yeah, they're definitely
I feel like you're just
not.
apologizing for everyone telling you that you're a piece of shit, and then you're just saying that you're listening, but you're not.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't understand. Again, it also depends on what they mean by their community, because there's a big difference between like Reddit, podcasts, blogs, and then like the Blizzard forums. The Blizzard forums are full of just straight up retarded people.
Yeah, it's
like,
worse than just a bunch of trolls.
Yeah, like every update that most sane people seem to hate, people in the Blizzard forum are like, this is great, this is amazing. Like, I've tried to go on there before and be like, here's a legitimate complaint, like me not being a dick at all. And then like 25 responses to, you just suck at this game, you don't like things, blah blah. I'm like, okay, I was just kind of stating publicly, like, hey, maybe this is not the best idea, but I guess I'll just get everyone to tell me how much they just want to suck Blizzard's cock. I don't know.
Pretty much. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I played, but not really. It's been mostly Star Wars and Destiny with a little bit of Overwatch sprinkled in there with you.
Yeah, well, my internet's been real tough the past couple of days, too, so gaming's been a little rough.
Yeah, your internet's been a real motherfucker, that's for sure.
Yay!
But yeah, and I have a couple other things here, but I kind of want to wait until Andrew is back to talk about them. Stuff like thoughts on like collector's editions and what should be in them, are they worth it, sort of thing. And then like, if you want to look into the whole government, looking into the EA and Blizzard loot box thing, there's some interesting articles out there about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
And then, yeah, I mean, other than that, the next time I go to Starbucks, I'm going to order whatever, and I'm going to tell them my name is Tomothy and see what they write.
Please do that. I really want to see that.
I'm pretty curious, actually.
Tomothy.
Ugh.
Don't even let them.
They're just going to throw the coffee
you how to
at
spell
me.
Your name. Don't even let them ask you how it's spelled. Like, if they go, how do you spell? Just be like, just write it how you think it's spelled. Like, I want to know.
Yeah. Let's find out. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me. I plan on watching Punisher all this weekend and Great British Baking Season 4. Other than that, like, I'm just going to be hanging out, playing some Overwatch, and whatever else pops up. Probably some Star Wars, probably some World of Warcraft, some Destiny, just kind of hanging out. Ashley's off on Sunday, so I'm hoping we can all get some gaming time in then.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I got game night tomorrow. I'm going to try to see some friends scattered throughout the weekend, but most of my weekend I'm home is just going to be me sitting around playing games, because that's
I know you're
what I love
anxious
to
to
do.
dig into the Switch.
I am anxious, yes.
So
I'm anxious to get further into Fallout and Pillars too. So I got a lot of stuff I want to play.
it's a good thing to have, man. We're in a good
Yeah,
place with games
absolutely.
this year. I'm anxious for I always enjoy the Game of the Year Giant Bomb stuff. So I'm super anxious to, just hear more about that. I am anxious to hear with their new hires. They've got 3 new employees, and I'm interested to hear how they do under the pressure of arguments with their boss live on the air.
Fair enough.
So
We got to start figuring out what our top 10s are going to be for the year.
yeah, it's always interesting for us because I feel like most of us don't play new games every year. We're always like, yeah, I played this game that came out like 15 years ago.
I've been pretty spoiled this year. I've played a lot of new things.
Yeah, I mean, I've played some stuff, but overwhelmingly I've played, older games. So,
Hey, that counts. Whatever.
yeah, we'll see.
I mean, and going to games real quick. I mean, I've been going back to playing a lot of Shogo as well.
Oh, I love Shogo. It doesn't hold up super well, but I've got a special place in my heart for it.
I mean, it's made like shit. It's cheap, and you really got to fuss with it to get it to work on new systems. But you know what? I went through the pain, and it's fun. It's still just as cheesy as fun as I remember. Love it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. I think that's it for the show. I'll be on tomorrow, hanging out playing some games, so I'm sure we'll play some stuff.
All right, yeah, probably see you in the AM.
All right. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Later.
Night.